Hi, I'm Bran, and I love The Way Home. And Nick.
I don't know anymore, man. I'm Ryan and stuff. We're here.
I'm Dan. This show sucks, but I love Claire, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Are we here already? Almost the end of the season?
Yeah.
it
Only
went by
one
quick.
left.
It did go
It did go by quick.
I almost said it gone by quick.
It
and
gone
did.
by
It went
quick,
by
y'all.
quick, yeah.
Rye Guy, you've not been a party to all of the Claire conversation around the office, but
There it is. So, there
not
it
different. That's a
is.
different Claire. That's
That's
not
party.
Yeah, party Claire.
You said a party.
You remember last week
thought
when
it
we
was
talked
funny.
extensively
I thought it
about
was
Nick
pretty
being
funny.
down at the pond with Dell, not down at the Dell with Pond, down at the pond with Dell, and saying, "Don't worry, I won't tell Claire." You remember how crazy that was, right? And then I
We talked
said,
about it extensively. Yeah.
I said, email me if you would like to defend the scene. Only one person emailed me, but that didn't stop, I don't know, dozens of people minimum from comments around the interwebs, whether it be Facebook public, Instagram public, Facebook private double-decker group, YouTube, whatever it may be. And the consensus is this. We didn't know who Claire was because we're not paying attention.
That's not true.
Wait a minute. You're going to get there. Here's what the consensus, I can sum up most of the comments. Claire is Nick's ex-fiance that is now his fiance again. And she's very important.
We were close with her, by the way.
And then they do this whole, everybody that's commented defends the scene as Dell feels like she's been lied to. And then hearing Nick say he won't tell his fiance makes her feel better about Colton not telling her. And that's the justification for the scene, which I don't buy, but I'm happy that they buy it. And then almost every comment ends with, but yes, she's not appeared on screen yet.
That was our whole point.
That was our whole point.
I believe we may have, as we went on, because the show has caused so much psychosis for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we may have said, I think we said that we could be wrong about
Yes.
what Claire is, but
Yeah.
we were very confident she was his fiance to
Yes.
some degree.
Our
whole point,
Exactly.
Our whole point was, have we ever seen her? To which we were very confident that we hadn't.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, isn't it, in an effort to defend the show and correct us, people have gone through the great lengths to defend the scene, which I still contend no way that Nick and Dell happened to be at the pond together at the same time. But they defend it as like a character building scene. I don't buy it. If you buy it, great. I'm happy it works for you. But then they end by going, yeah, Claire has never been here. That's the point, guys, is
That makes it better, Dan.
yeah. But the thing is now they're going to reveal Claire as, I don't know, Casey. Like they're going to reveal Claire as someone that we've known all along.
I've had the thoughts.
And it's crazy. So that's been our week, right? I'm not joking. We released the episode at 6 a.m. Before 11 a.m, we had over a dozen people telling us about Claire.
Dear Lord.
So no, it's not. I'm not complaining. That's what we asked for. And you,
No,
and
no,
you,
no, no.
and you
the
homies.
exercise
Is it
important.
homies? Is that what we're doing? The homies.
Love that.
The homies came through.
homies.
The homies came through. They all commented, and it's still Claire has not been on the screen yet. So I want to be clear there.
What if we find out, like Nick is so
Wanna be
like,
Claire there? Am I right?
Yeah.
what if Nick is
Collateral
so
KC.
scarred by, falling in love with a time traveler that Claire is actually just like a doll? It's not even a real, it's just got like, it's
Yeah.
got Alice's face
He's
on
a
it.
ventriloquist.
Yeah.
He's like, hi, I'm Claire. It's sweet to be here.
He can't tell
time
Claire
and
because
what
technically he
time?
is
What?
Claire.
What
That's
you
true. You
Yeah.
can't tell somebody if they don't exist.
Why don't you tell me about the pond? Is this the Lobster Social? Are we there?
Yeah.
Hey, Rye Guy, have you had enough ridicule about your toys that you moved location?
Yeah, what's that about?
TV/DTH.
I've had enough ridicule about almost being late to this recording, and so
Did you
just
say
for the record,
almost? Almost being late?
I was on time.
What?
He was on time for the time that he said
He
that
would be
wouldn't-
late.
Yes.
I got it. Okay, got it.
But no, things are moving along. I did have a bit of a bad break last night. I don't know if we have time, but
We got time, please. Is it about bidding for something on eBay?
No.
Okay.
I actually had the best credit card bill I've had in years. Actually,
The
for
best
month of
credit card
January, so
bill.
I really think I crushed it.
Losing
But
those points.
Yeah. No. Zazzle said no to the Mark Paul Gosselaar baseball card. They said can't use his likeness. I put in the
Oh.
order. It was confirmed. I literally did like a little fist pump in bed, and then an hour later, they were like, "We've identified Mark Paul Gosselaar."
I just
This
in
can't
my
fly."
head, like Alyssa's sleeping in bed.
Yep. You nailed
you're
it.
here, and then all of a sudden she's awakened by yes. And she's like,
And
what?
she's like, "Did you get the card?
Did you get? Did he make? Did they say yes
Did
to the
they say
Mark
yes
Paul
to the Mark
Gosselaar
Paul-
thing? Please, dear God.
The bummer was, well, actually, I guess in a way, I saved some money, but they wouldn't let you order one card. It's like you got to do a pack of 10, so it was going to be $20 for, I only needed one.
I also
sign. I was
love
probably
that-
just going to give him the rest.
What if you
As
gave
much
like a
as he
Staples
buys-
a go? Like, what if you got a Staples up there?
But one or two in the general, area. But
Connecticut area.
yeah, but I don't think Staples makes baseball cards, Brandon.
But you could send them a print. Like we just had some things printed from Staples. It's front and
You
back.
didn't want to give him any more information.
No,
We had some
Fine.
things printed.
I'm not going to tell you.
Could be anything.
Brand, oh God, it's all right. Everything's all right. It's almost like I had to eat very quickly. I'll hop on the horn here with them after and see what's.
You just got to send them the thing and they'll print it out.
It's not going to look like a baseball card, though.
What do you mean it's not going to look like a baseball?
He wants it to look like a baseball
want it to
card
be, like,
brand.
full-
Like have that feel to it and look like the style. Yeah.
Zazzle has custom baseball. Like I could give them a picture of you with stuff, and like you'd have a baseball card of you and stuff.
Make
hanging
it,
out.
find a picture of Brand and me and make a baseball card of us. I'll Venmo you. Just tell me
And
what
then-
it costs.
and then I'll have Mark Paul sign it. That
No,
doesn't
we
make
have
any
20
sense.
of them. No, we ordered 20 because that's the minimum. Yes. Is it 20 or is this $20 the minimum?
No, it was, I don't know how many cards I was gonna. I'm gonna guess 10. A card of the three of us though, and we signed those at Bramble
Yeah.
Fest.
So I'm saying we do a limited run. So we
Yeah.
don't do enough for everybody. That wouldn't be any
Right.
fun.
I actually
No,
did
we
have
do
a
it.
thought
Stupid.
not too long ago. Was it with you, Ryan? We had
I don't
to.
know,
We
but-
talked about making Hallmark baseball cards of Hallmark actors.
It
I think
sounds
that
like
was me, yeah,
Zazzle
yeah.
won't pull the trigger on likeness. But if
Yeah,
we do
Zazzle's
one
out for that.
But
of the
what
three
if-
of us and we have like a few of them and we sign them and we give them away for prizes.
I
at
mean, we're
Bramble
not
Fest.
small tunas, though. You think Zazzle's going to print us?
Small tunas. I think
I mean,
Zazzles are going to
listen,
print us.
if I'm not coming up on Gronk yet for AI, I feel like they'll probably pass my baseball card, right?
Yeah, they're going to print all of us. No,
What
and
if-
if they wouldn't print one of us, it would be Rye Guy.
What if?
I want to be
Oh,
very
that's
clear.
very
Let me
kind.
ask you
That's
this.
Inaccurate, but kind.
What if
You
you?
have 5x8 glossies, Brian. You have.
Those are pretty sick.
They are pretty sick.
So you're telling me Mark Paul can never have Zazzle make himself baseball cards? Like,
Well,
how do you get around? If you're Mark Paul, like, do you email Zazzle? Maybe
Hey,
email
it's
Zazzle.
me. I'm Zach
Hey,
Morris.
Hey,
It's me, Mark Paul.
Yeah.
Please help.
But really, please help. But that to bring it back to us, that could get complicated because, like, what if there's like a one of one Brand and AWalk from the cruise, and they're like, we can't do this. That's Andrew Walker. We can't do this because they're
I'm
gonna
just
think
saying,
that,
throw it
you
into
know?
the three of us and see what happens. That we have a picture of the three of
I
us.
think
We
we're
got
gonna
one and
make
taken
it,
it
guys.
at Bramble Fest. I think
Yeah.
we'll send you that pic. You get the Zazzle order going. I'll Venmo you, and we see what happens.
All right. I mean, this doesn't help me for 90s Con with Mark Paul, but that's neither here nor
You
there.
know what? I think you're going to make it without the pitch baseball card.
Oh, that's easy for you to say, bub. You know, but
What if you? Okay, here. Are you ready?
I'm
So
always ready.
take his face away, right?
Oh
Put
my
like a
God.
little circle over top
Brand's
of
trying to get as close to the line as he
it.
can.
Then
That's all he's doing.
print out a picture of it, cut it.
I
glue
don't like
it
that
on-
brand.
Okay.
But I appreciate the thought. I think
So
the
if you want to
reality,
keep living your loser life
No,
without your
man,
Mark
listen,
Paul
I think-
Gosler
listen,
card,
I-
I'm trying to help.
I go
think
follow
the
the rules, Rye
reality-
Guy.
what's up, Dan?
Follow
Yeah.
the rules. I'm with you, man.
No, well, I think the reality is if I do anything now, because I'm already spending a couple hundo at 90s Con. Let's be real. Like, you know, they got
Minimum.
Kel Mitchell in the Good Burger costume for
Yeah,
goodness
you
sake.
can't let an opportunity like that go to waste.
Yeah. But I think I'll just have Mark Paul sign one of the AI generated images of me having him hold. the
You
World Series
cannot
trophy.
have him sign an AI generated picture of himself.
I would just tell him like Alyssa made it on Photoshop or something. You
So
know?
you'd lie about that, but you won't do the cutout thing that Brand's talking about for the.
You got it exactly right, Dan. You've
Okay,
you've
good.
gone
At
to a
least I
T.
know. At least I know the
Yeah.
line. At least
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, as long as it's not you spending hours making
Yeah.
an AI generated art, then it's fine. I just feel like I had a pretty good idea. You shut it down.
It's just like, what do you want me to use? Like Elmer's glue to get his face back on?
Yeah, have you ever art or crafted?
Have you
Nah,
arted
man,
or
that's-
crafted?
I'm a creative, but not in that way.
All right, we've literally Aaron is currently emailing you this picture. Currently, I'm
3 of
watching
us?
her do it on
Yeah,
the
okay,
screen.
So during my synopsis, I would like for you to make
get
it,
on the Zaz,
make a baseball card.
make a baseball card,
Can you do that?
or at the very least, look into it.
You just look into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good pick. It's a full body
I mean,
shot. We
three of
got
us
we
were
got
dashing
nice shoes
guys. I
on.
mean,
I mean, it's a good
That's
pick.
really good. Let's talk The Way Home, season
Possibly?
season 3, episode 9. Too late to turn back
apologize.
now.
Apologize.
It's too late to turn back now. It's too late to turn back now.
Apologize.
It's too late. February 28th, 2025 is when it premiered. It went a little something like this. Kat and Jacob are looking at the house that's burnt down, the farm. And they're trying, guys, come on.
Looking at the house that's burnt down the farm.
It's burnt down the farm. It's the farmhouse. Trying to figure out how their dad was there. Remember last time?
Yeah, buddy.
And so Jacob says, we can't both leave. One of us has to stay and help Elijah rebuild the house farm. And he says,
What if it's you, Cat?
what if it's you, Kat? I thought he was doing a bit. I thought he was doing a comedy bit. No, he's like, I got to get back.
Makes sense, Cat and Thomas.
I have a
man.
job, Cat.
I got a job. I can't just drop
Tomcat.
everything. Tomcat, and then it'll give you some time also with Thomas. So Jacob goes back and tells everybody about the fire. Della is shocked to hear the news about Colton and how he saved the day and whatnot. And Elliot is shocked to find out that Kat stayed behind to lock lips with Thomas some more. Alice asks him to describe what Colton was wearing. And
Which is above board.
yes. And and he's like, yeah, he was wearing a suit, and she's like, I remember that day well. He time traveled the day that
Ricky died.
Ricky died.
That's
That's
right.
what he was wearing.
It's the funeral. Not the
figured
day he died, the funeral.
funeral.
They turned
So-
that funeral around real quick.
Jacob goes to the computer to figure out how he can get back at the Goodwins, and he comes up with a pretty good idea involving fire and how that can fire apparently bad for wine.
Fire bad for wine. Write that down.
Elliot is looking at the clock, 7 o'clock, and finds something inside of it. What was that?
Oh, I don't remember.
It looked like a little
It's a
looked like a
talisman.
hinge or something. You know what that was, Ryan?
No, Hinge is a dating app brand.
I'm mad at you today.
Thanks. Thank you, right guy.
I'm mad at you today.
Dynamite
That's where I
drop
met
in.
Alyssa.
That's where you met Alyssa. It's a
Alright.
love
Oh, yeah.
connection on Hinge.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good. Jacob goes to work and to figure out a couple of things. One, he needs to know where the keys are at, so for the fuel tanks, so he can do his big prank
Yeah,
TV.
Prank TV with
And
Jacob. That's right.
also figure out how he can get a code for the garage to go inside and get said keys.
Yeah, code for the garage.
Kat goes back to the Alice goes back to the 70s to try to get answers, and Colton tells her that a record label really likes their song, and he's going to go on a road trip. Evelyn's going to come. You should come with us. We would sing and it'd be great. And she's like, it's a hard pass for me. But Evelyn, she's like, I can't wait to go. This is going to be amazing. Clearly, Evelyn, obviously still in love with Colton. This is her big chance. All he really wants to do, though, more than anything else, more than being a famous musician, more than anything, is to impress Dell's family. Maybe if I become a musician, I'll get the money and they will be impressed with me. Alice then catches him in the pond and confronts him. He's like, what are you doing? Kat finds out that the fire has done damage to Cyrus's lungs and he's going to die. Colton tells Kat,
Well, I mean, he can't talk anymore for sure.
yeah, can't talk.
Yeah.
Colton tells Alice about how he didn't believe his grandma about the pond, but one day it worked. And it took him back to the 1800s. That's when he did the thing. He told them about the crops and the whatnot. He was so happy. He felt like he helped his ancestors. He comes back. He tells his grandma. Grandma's mad. He's like, you need to know this. You need to know this here rule. You can't tell them stuff that you know. It's changes stuff. You can't tell the future for the past. And so that's bad. And so there you go. He jumped in again the day of Rick's funeral, and he saw the fire. He saw the riots. He realized that him giving them the 411 on the crops must have caused people to go nutso. This is all my fault. And then he tries again. The pawn doesn't work for him anymore, and he says it is because the pawn is punishing me for telling them something from the future. For that reason, when he asks her, "Hey, are you like me? I told you all this," she says, No, I am not. She then sees him get back to the farm where Dell is waiting for him. Dell's back, and he proposes to her, and she says yes. Alice comes back and tells Dell that the only time she traveled in the pond was as a teenager, never during her marriage, something she couldn't possibly know. He never lied to you. Dell is still a bit discouraged. Back in the 1800s, Thomas tells Kat that he once jumped in to get her from the pond. He couldn't make it. Didn't work for him. So she says, if this was going to work between the two of us, I'd have to stay here, give it my whole life. Obviously, can't do that, right? Can't do that. So he's like, hey, I'm going to make this easy on you. I'm going to go far away and find like some family or something. So she says, goodbye. Goodbye, my Thomas. Goodbye, my friend. Back in the 70s, Dell is like, hey, are you still go to San Francisco for the music executive thing? And he's like, I want to stay here with you. I'm not going anywhere. Elliot convinces Jacob to bring him back to the 1800s to help with repairs. So he's there now. Thomas watches Kat and Elliot embrace and kiss from his favorite place, the bushes. Then he makes eye contact with Elliot, and they do one of those things where it's just like a head nod, like, all right, you won this one. Evelyn tells Colton that she's leaving. She has dreams, that she's not going to give up. And I don't think that you should give up on your dreams either. And then just looks at Dell like, Kat goes to, Alice. Gosh, I did a really bad job with names this week. Alice goes to hang out with, what's his name? Max. And they have a real heart-to-heart, seemingly came out of nowhere.
Turns into a lip-to-lip.
Hey, a lip-to-lip. It's a kiss. She goes to talk to her mom, and she's like, did I kiss him because I wanted to, or because I know that we're going to end up together because that's what I've made up in my mind? Kat is like, well, I mean, did you want to kiss him? And she's like, I don't know. That's part of the problem. No one knows where Jacob is. But
what?
The truck is gone. Where is this?
On.
The search is back on. Dell goes to open up his laptop. For some reason, I don't know.
No, the laptop was already open.
Oh, laptop's already open?
Yeah.
Great. Laptop's already open, and, plan is pretty clear here based on the previous Google searches. It'd be pretty easy to find this guy guilty is all I'm saying. And so she knows that he's going down there to try to start fire to the vineyard. And she yells at him, and she's like, get back in the truck.
Get in the truck.
Get in the truck, you little baby boy. And so he does, but there's a security camera that caught the whole thing. And that, my friends, was The Way Home, Season 3, Episode 9.
Too late to turn back now.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back.
We're doing 70s songs because they spend so much time in the 70s. That's why they're
What's that
70s
song? What's that?
It's by, I looked it up, Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. That's the name of the...
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we're going to break this one down here on Deck the Hallmark.
Hello.
It's us. We're talking about episode 9, the penultimate
Nicely done.
episode for season
I feel like
Trace.
you've been working on getting that right for years.
Penultimate.
Nope. You should have just stuck with it.
Here we go. It's the penultimate.
You nailed it. Nailed it.
Get your penultimates ready, everybody. Let's do the hot take. It's where we share our thoughts on the episode. We're not going to hold back. You know that by now. Ryan, what do you think about this one?
I didn't think the episode was good, Bran.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll kick it to you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, right, go ahead.
No, listen, I don't know. So my big concern about halfway through this, and this is going to be a little tricky of a hot take because I feel like my hot take could really mirror several different wait what's. But as on a broad strokes, looking at this from 30,000 foot level, like genuinely, I'm now afraid. Everyone in the Facebook group, and messages and comments I've seen says season 1 is really tight, and even those who support season 2 and 3 will say it's not nearly as tight as season 1. What I'm afraid is going to happen because of a lot of things that happened in this episode now is that it's going to make season 1 retroactively less tight because these Colton threads just don't make any sense. And so, unless explicitly season 1, episode 2, episode 6, unless they've known from jump that Colton was going to do all this stuff, I can almost guarantee you any Colton and Alice scene from season 1 is now going to be rendered just totally nonsensical if you go back and watch it, depending on where we're going. I could be wrong. I don't rule out that I'm wrong. That's just my great concern after everything that happened today. And that's a real bummer because, as we all agree, season 1, great season of television. And I don't want these less than great seasons of television, in my opinion, to ruin that. Past that, man, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that 1970s Evelyn was the A story of the penultimate episode of season 3 of The Way Home. Like, I wouldn't have had that in our office pool. The Cat and Thomas stuff was, I thought, pretty good, but it just was so totally jarring and for me, so quickly eliminated by the fact that here's Elliot, which is a wait what in and of itself. People time traveling now is just not special. It's like, I promise I'm not now, not later. I'm not going to go on a soapbox about, and Bran was the first to clock this, like episode 2 or 3 this year. The pond is just so generous. I'm not going to go just one time. I would love all right, Jacob and Elliot go in the pond and they're in 1920, that was I guess we'll go to a show, but and so all of that's really dumb for me. But then also Kat and Elliot just cheated on each other a couple days ago. And it's oh, this is so great. Happy you're here. Let's pick up logs. I guess the end of the episode is intriguing enough, but at the same time, Jacob's Google search history is what it is, and he didn't encounter one thing of literature on security cameras. Bad episode, bad season. I'm bummed out, Bran.
I don't know.
I had the privilege of watching Bran watch this. I'd already seen it. Bran was watching this on headphones while I was doing something else. It was such a treat to watch. Back to you, Bran. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like every week I come into enemy territory in a sense, and I come in here and I'm like, guys, let's just give it time. Let's let them cook.
We're back, baby.
Let them cook. Let's get back. And I don't know, man. I really struggle with this episode. I don't think that this is hyperbolic. I think every decision in this episode made me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm discouraged. I just want to get back to the fun, and I want to go back. I want to go back to having fun, and I'm not having very much fun right now. And at least with Ride, we could laugh.
You miss Ride?
This a little bit. This is no laughing matter. This what happened here, and all the decisions that they made with every character, it's no laughing matter. Serious stuff. And it really bummed me out. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm in a bit of a sour mood about it.
Do a voice, that'll make it better.
So that's where I'm at. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Dan?
So although I've been really hard on this show for the last 2 seasons, I've been feeling disheartened at our podcast episodes because I simultaneously always want us to be ourselves, but I don't want it to be a show where 3 people are bashing something somebody loves. I know that sounds crazy coming from me. I put a poll up on the Double Decker group just with 4 different options about how you're feeling about season 3. I mean, we had over 100 people, participate in the poll. And the two things I found in that poll were, number one, over half of the people, over 50%, are still completely on board with The Way Home. So over half the people still on board. It's still their jam. They're still going to watch it as long as it's on. But 97% of double-deckers polled say this show is not nearly as good as it was in season 1. So that made me feel better about where we are and what we're doing. At least I felt crazy for a while. This episode of television should never have aired. They create, and I'll wait for the wait what's on this, and somebody else will probably get to it before I do because I go last. They create a new rule for the pond in episode 9 of season 3 that makes no sense. None. They decide we're 29 episodes in. Now's the time to give you a specific rule. And it is terrible. It's a terrible rule that makes no sense and is really, really bad. The Jacob stuff, really, really bad. Really, really bad. I wrote down in my notes, poor Dell, poor Andy McDowell, because every week she has to play a different character. It is absolutely absurd what they're doing to this character and this like venerated actor, like this actor that is easily one on the call sheet here. Dell's character is just 2 sheets to the wind. It fundamentally does not matter. She can be whatever they need her to be. At one point, 5 minutes of this show is a clip show of scenes we've already seen this season. That happened this week. Not at the end of 10, like M. Night Shyamalan connecting all the dots for you about Bruce Willis and the color red. No, this is in episode 9, 20 minutes into The Way Home. And it's scenes we've seen in the last 3 or 4 weeks while Colton is talking. It's crazy. They put Tomcat to bed. A week ago, Kat has run back into the arms of Thomas. Clearly not right for Elliot. This week, they ended it. They have that. It's a wrap on Tomcat, guys. It's done. It's over. Guys, this is like throw a dartboard blindly, throw a dart at a dartboard blindly and see what happens. It is. I was so frustrated watching this television program. And the other thing about that poll that I put on the Double Decker page is a lot of comments are like, yeah, I get sometimes it doesn't work. I just roll with it and I'm having fun. I don't think you guys understand how desperately I want to roll with it and have fun. I'm not wired that way necessarily, but every week, this week I was like, all right, I'm just going to roll with it and have fun. This is going to be a blast. And it was worse. It was worse.
And I can confirm, I walked in and Dan had his roll with it and have fun shirt on.
I had my roll with it and have fun shirt on. I'll only break it out for special occasions.
I know. He said, I'm going to wear it, and he wore it, and here we are.
I'm trying to roll with it and have fun. You can't keep telling me this time travel thing is serious and there are rules and here are the rules and then the rules be stupid. I'm not wired. I'm not wired for that. You can't try to gear me up for something and then tell me the rule.
When you say the rule, is that what Grandma told to Colton? Is that what
you can't? The rule that they make up in this episode is.
So I'm not even sure that that's an actual rule.
If it's not,
that's also a problem, though.
If it's not a rule, that's even worse because now we've double lied to Dell.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is Go ahead.
The rule is that if you tell someone in the past their future, then you can't time travel anymore. And that's what the grandma, who we know to be a time traveler, tells Colton. And then according to him, he doesn't time travel again, which means he never really lied to Dell because he couldn't do it anymore now here's the problem. Did he tell them the future? No. He said, hey, I'd plant these 2 crops.
Right.
Bro, I'll just go ahead and do it now since this is going this. Mm-hmm. Like every single person that time travels spoils the future more than Colton.
That's why I'm not sure it's a rule. That's why I'm not sure it's a rule. I think Grandma is just crazy. Like I think
you think Grandma is there's nothing in the myth about Grandma and she's just crazy.
I think that I think it's like hey, you can't I don't know. I'm just trying here but
wouldn't that be worse?
I don't know, because if you make a rule, something that we have seen, I think every episode in the series go against it, that's really tough. And so that's why I was like, that's why they did all this stuff for the season to show that Grandma's kind of crazy. And should you tell people the future? Probably not. But like, I don't know. I just had such a weird heart.
So now
I didn't know how to.
twisting Del further.
I didn't know how to feel about
originally
it.
it was.
Do you know what I'm saying though?
I know what you're saying, but for me, they made it very clear it was a rule so they could explain Colton not being a bad guy. In my opinion, there's no way to take that.
But here's the thing. The only explicit way that they made the rule is that he couldn't time travel that time.
No, he said he never time traveled. He could not time travel again. I believe he says that sentence.
How I heard it.
He's
tries-
still a teenager though.
But he tries to jump again and he doesn't.
Right. And then they have the conversation.
But he says
I broke it.
But I'm not. I can.
All
He
I'm
says I
saying
can
is
never time travel again.
Yeah, I think.
So you think he still has? You think Colton is still time traveled after that?
I think that
scene?
it's possible. Is all I'm saying. I think that it's possible.
I think. Well, no, he definitely is because we see him in the woods.
That's
in the
right.
premiere.
So my problem is
Yeah.
that's worse.
Yeah.
That's way worse. This is absurd at this point.
Yeah.
Like what you said it, Ryan. Like what they've done to Colton. Like if he does time travel after this, and that is not a rule,
100% he does. Yeah.
that's crazy.
And also, Dan, to that point, my even bigger thing off of that is we all thought for the first chunk of episodes this season that, oh, Colton in some way is the big bad or at least has done something nefarious. This episode goes out of its way to say that's not the case. I'm starting to think that we're all just total lunatics.
Yes.
And there is no big bad.
I can't even.
It's not Colton. It's not nearly nude Sam. It's not.
whoa,
it's not
whoa.
Elliot. No one's. There are no villains in this show. Like,
I don't know what you want me to think at
what's
this
the
point
point of the show?
with-
It's really
about
where I'm going.
I want to know what any through line that you can tell me about the character of Del or Colton.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one. I think they've literally changed it a dozen times. It's brutal.
Things can't just happen. There has to be a purpose as to why Colton in season 3 is revealed to be a time traveler. And
Yeah.
I will happily, I got one thing wrong last week. I misunderstood a line. That's on me. I will love to come in here next week and say there is a substantial reveal that sets up season
That'd be
4 and
awesome.
beyond.
Yeah. So
As to why Colton is a time traveler. Right now, Bran, it just seems like they're doing stuff.
Sure. My when I heard the thing, my first thought was she's not right. Like by everything that we know, Grandma's not right about this. So take that for what it's worth. My thought process here, and here's how I got there. He tries to do it, can't do it, opens up to Alice and puts two and two together. She says, you can't tell people.
Okay.
And now I can't time travel. But what we do know is that in theory, the pawn takes you where you need to go. So he tried. Pawn says, not today. He swears off doing it. I guess I can't do it anymore. Years and years later, his son goes missing. He says, let's give it one more go.
Okay.
Does go, Pawn takes it. That's what I think is
And
going to
then
happen.
doesn't tell his wife
That's right.
that he can time travel. She gets mad about that after his death.
Yeah.
And then gets told not to get mad about it. And then later she's going to find out she should get mad about it.
That's right.
Can I hypothesize something real quick?
Do we have proof that he has time traveled? Firm proof that he has since the teenager. We see the picture of him in the woods. Do we have
He
firm
turns around.
proof that he's time traveled since
I don't know if
that
it's
time?
100% confirmed.
He shows his face to camera, Bran. It's
But we
either
don't
him
know
or
that he
we're
came from the
cloning.
pond.
But no, it's past his death.
Oh, I didn't think it was past his death. I thought he went back to look at his family one more time.
No, isn't he in that scene, Bran?
No, I
Like,
don't
isn't
think
he-
he's
I
in
gotta
seen
go back.
past his
I gotta
death.
go back and give it a look. I don't want to.
No,
yeah.
I think he,
I shouldn't speak out of
I think
school
he
either.
watches his family on the farm, right? But it's not past his death.
But he's
that
in-
would be a different rule.
But he's watching himself with his
I'm pretty
family.
sure
Is
he's
his-
in that scene.
is
in
he-
some
he's on both
capacity.
sides of it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think his kid went missing. He goes back, jumps in the pond. It
Yeah, yeah.
finally lets him do it again.
So-
he gets to see his family again.
So everything we've been talking about all season, if that's the case, which I would love to, like, if we see him looking at himself, if we see that, if that's the case, we've got a much bigger problem than this rule, which is everything we've been saying about Del, and she is like pining for her son and he's lost. And Colton has not only the knowledge of the pond, but the ability to time travel and go and find him and not go, Del, guess what? He might not be lost forever. I'm looking for him every night. The fact that he doesn't do that is he is the worst character on this show. If he just keeps going, Deli, get over it. Get over it,
that's
Deli.
the thing. Like, they have to be making him a villain, because if they're not, he's actually much worse of a person.
He's terrible. He's a monster.
The purpose of this, like, he has to be a villain.
Oh my
or
God.
else he, like, and so one other thing I want to say real quick, I know we're running long, but like, this conversation right now is a real problem, because this isn't the equivalent of season 1. What time period is Jacob in? Who's the White Witch? Right now, we're having a 10-minute salvo trying to find some semblance of a thread as to why maybe something made sense. That is not the mark of good television.
It is not.
And so, I don't know. I'm just very discouraged.
Well, it's time for all the feels.
I've got a still shot of this,
Yeah?
and he's not outside.
What do you
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but the season 2 finale, when you
It's
turn
in season 3. It was this season where he turns around to camera.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think
when he
I could be
turns
wrong.
around, is that him back there? Oh, it is. This looks like he's in both. Is that,
I didn't even
you
think that
that's
was.
him?
I didn't think that was this season. I thought it was last season.
I'm pretty sure that's the finale of last season, Rye.
All right, I could be wrong.
No, I remember. I feel like, guys, I wish I should have gone back and looked. My recollection of this scene was that he is watching
Himself.
and his son playing, right? And it's like, and I think Cat's there too, like little Cat. I think it's like
be a dramatic reveal otherwise, because we would like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's in both.
Gosh,
Pretty
they've ruined that reveal so much. It wasn't. It was shocking when it happened, and it is nonsensical now. It's not. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. Let's get to the feels. Do
Already?
we need? I feel like
Actually, I have one that actually kind of relates to everything we're talking about, because at one point Alice just unloads the most exposition humanly possible after she gets back from the 70s. And Andy McDowell, God lover, says, speaking for the audience here, quote, "I can't keep any of this straight." And I just really felt seen in that moment. And like it was unintentional on the show's part, but it was how I very much have felt for the last 19 episodes of the show.
I don't know if there is at this point a more unlikable character than Cat. I think that Cat is an absolutely unlikable character, and best case scenario is, in my mind, Elliot goes back to the 1800s. Thanks God, and and they do this thing where Thomas and Elliot lock eyes. Best case scenario is those guys at that moment when they did the head nod actually meant like, you kidding me with her right now? Like and they
Deuces.
both drop her, and she's stuck in the 1800s forever, and Thomas never comes back. That's best case scenario, because I'm fed up with that, with what she's up to over here. I'm fed right on up, Dan.
Yeah, I think all of my anger and frustration that I felt during the hot take is plenty for the feels. That's all I've got.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the wait what and the sink or swim here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking the penultimate.
We're talking the penultimate.
Let's get to a wait what. So we talk about what in this episode made us go. Wait, what? Ryan?
We already talked about Jacob insisting he go back to the present over Kat, even though she has a child. So like she's a mom, and like but
I honestly thought he was doing a bit.
It was so funny when they were like,
Dude,
it's like in a horror movie when it's like, we should split up.
I thought I heard him wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
So I know that I have spent almost my entire life here, and I'd be super helpful. And I know you have a kid.
And you don't know much about the 1800s. I know you spent some time here.
But I got a wine gig.
I got a wine gig. I got to get back.
Get out of here.
It literally reminded me of that the Geico commercial in the horror movie when they're like, what if we hide behind all the chainsaws? It literally was that bad a moment when it's like, well, one of us should, we should totally split up and let one of us stay here. And it should totally be, and it seems like they should both say Jacob at the same time. And Jacob says Cat, and Cat's like, what the? Really? All right, cool. It was a very wild moment.
Yeah. Very wild. Is this just me? Or has anyone else never heard this expression, reason, season, or lifetime that Kat says to Tom? Am I just not hip? Or like,
I still don't feel. I feel like you just said it for the first time.
Yeah,
I totally
did.
missed
Yeah,
it
no,
in the
no, no, no,
episode.
no.
So.
That's
All right,
nothing for
cool.
me.
Well, we can
What's the
move forward.
context?
She's like, there's this saying in my time. You meet people for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And he's like, oh, I guess we were a season then, my Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
And I was
really
just
good
like, I don't
Thomas
know.
That was
impression.
really good. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
Thanks, man, dude. Like, I'm not just eBay. Yeah, I have layers.
No doubt.
70s Colton is giving the full history of his time with the pond to Alice. This dude had just tried to jump. It's clearly brisk out. Maybe this shouldn't bother me, but he's not even remotely cold. Like, and it just really peeved me. And then last one. Listen, I'm sorry, genuinely. I know Cyrus Goodwin isn't a good dude. He has his flaws. I'm sorry that he's going through it. He had a rough couple of days. But man, when when they showed him sitting in that bed looking like he had a toothache because he had that thing wrapped around his head, I couldn't help but laugh.
Okay.
Dude, his Darth Vader villain arc is going to be great. He's going to give him a suicide.
I've got some news on this Colton thing.
Oh, great. You've been
I
doing
did
a
some
deep dive?
reading. This is why you don't do this. So Colton has an older brother. He has an older brother.
What?
Colton has an older brother. I don't think we've seen him yet, but not only did the producer says to rewatch the final scene of season 2, and it may not appear as we think. People think that both of those people might not be Colton in that scene.
Both of those people?
So like Colton is watching himself.
Right. That's my understanding.
There is a running theory that this might not be, even though he turns to the screen, that one of these two people might not be.
What do you mean he
Colton.
has a
tight
brother?
close shot on
Producer
Colton's
says
actor.
this.
What do you mean he has a brother?
Could be Colton's older brother that looks very similar to him, or it could be an identical twin that was older by birth.
Let's just start rewatching Ride. Let's just
It
do
is. This is so, dude. And here's the best part is that I hate it no matter what. But if it turns out that wasn't Colton, I can't wait for Bran to throw a table because this is nonsensical, guys. This doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't add up. This doesn't.
Anything else for the people? Right.
That was it for me, Bran.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Dan, but telling people what to plant or to farm
Is not. No, not even a little bit.
telling them the future.
No.
He didn't say,
I'm from the future.
I'm from the future. Here's what you should plant. He didn't even say, hey, he doesn't say it like, this would be a really good idea, I think,
Wink,
if I
wink.
were you, wink, wink. He's like, hey, maybe think about diversifying your farm
crops.
here, your
Well,
crops.
and here's the thing is,
And that's why I'm like, one, he didn't tell that.
He didn't.
That's why for those two reasons, him not actually doing it, and everybody else has done it and been able to time travel fine. And they showcased Grandma being crazy earlier. That's why I'm like, oh, she's saying you basically shouldn't do that. But
I mean, late
it was so
early
crazy.
in this season, the grandma looks at Alice and goes, "Colton broke the rules."
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is she's just crazy.
I think she's just kind
That's
of
just
crazy.
a crazy old bag. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's insanity.
Yes.
It's just it's meant to throw you off the track. It actually is a crazy old Landry.
Yeah.
Hey, is
yeah.
she even talking to Colton in those scenes though? We
Yeah,
don't
it could
know.
be
We
the
don't know.
twin. Have we
Could be
thought
the
about the twin?
And twins.
The other really quickly, the other wait what? Because I just feel like I read the synopsis. That's it. That's the way what. But Kat spends so much time in the 1800s. I literally laughed out loud when Alice walks into her bedroom and Kat's sitting there on her bed.
Yes.
Like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
I found it to be so funny because she's just like, it was such a whole thing. And Elliot came back and they did the thing. And the next thing you know, she is in Alice's room on the bed. Hey, let's talk. Girl talk. That was so funny. Dan?
Yeah, Colton happens to mention to a few 1800s farmers that you should plant some crops Everybody's cool with it. In this episode, Kat looks at Elijah. He knows she's from the future, and she says, I just know that it all turns out all right.
You're right.
That happens in this episode.
And then she promptly ends up back in the present on her child's bed, ready for girl talk.
It's inexplicable and it's terrible. This is a very small one, but it dawned on me. Jacob's driving a car like a pro. He's like being left alone in the evenings to drive a car. I mean, it takes teenagers a year of driving before we let them just do that. He's driving like an old truck, and he's been back in town how long?
Yeah.
He's
also surfing the internet pretty good.
Yeah. And this is his first. Yeah. And that actually brings me to my next one, which is Jacob left his search of wildfires of wineries open on his laptop with the screen still on for hours, days, maybe. She found this. He didn't close a tab out. He didn't shut the thing down.
He wanted to be found.
He knows how to use the internet, but he doesn't know how to not use the internet.
And this is not a hot take. It is legitimately a wait what, because I said wait what when the episode ended. How is that a cliffhanger? Now the Landry, the people who are seeing that camera know that Jacob almost destroyed the winery. How does that factor in?
I was trying to think back at the conversation they had to see if they gave any sort of
what am I supposed to be,
that he's a time traveler or something.
What am I supposed to be champing at the bit about for next episode with that cliffhanger?
Yeah, the Goodwins will know that he tried to do it.
But
right?
they didn't. Yeah,
who cares?
That's it.
But we're dealing with 1800s and 1970s. Yeah. Why is that, of all the mythology in the show, that is the worst penultimate episode cliffhanger maybe ever?
Yeah. It's also just really stupid again that he didn't know that the camera was there.
Yeah. He can drive a car just fine. I mean,
Yeah. But also if you're gonna do this thing, you might as well have Del say, I know it's been hard for you since time traveling through the pond.
That's right.
If we're gonna get stuff caught on camera, let's make it worth it, baby.
Yeah. But she stops him. What can he be arrested for?
Get in the car.
Yeah.
Got a truck right now.
And then they're like, don't, like it was an episode of Lost or something. Not Penny's boat out here. And then roll the credits. And it's just the camera caught him not committing any destruction of property. Cool.
Yeah, but he thought about it.
He did. That's what's in your heart,
Let's get to the sink or swim. It's where we talk about things that are giving us hope for the future. Ignorance bumming us out. Ryan.
Yeah, I'm sinking because at one point Jacob orders Alice a milkshake in the middle of the day, and I can't do that anymore. I can't have lactose.
Oh, brother, I need to send you this link. Dan told me
so there's this
about
new
this
thing.
new
I don't want to give him any. It's a company, but you take.
Oh, I should contact them. Maybe
it's like birth control for people that can't eat dairy. You take a pill for a week, and then for an entire month you can eat.
Go hog wild, bro.
That's right.
It's not lactate.
Unprotected dairy all day long.
That's right. Yeah, drink 2 milkshakes bareback.
Dude, unwrap that milk and go nuts.
Go to town. Cheese doesn't need a wrapper on it. You kidding me?
I'm swimming. We're back, baby.
We're back, baby.
We got one more episode left. And I am going to put my faith back in this show and say they can figure this out. And I'll just say this. I'm going to say it right here, right now.
Oh, my gosh.
If we find out in episode 10 that the person in that picture is Colton's twin brother, I'm going to say it right now. We're back, baby. Nothing would thrill me more. Let's do it. Let's get nuts. Dan?
I mean, clearly sinking here. I mean, I'm sunk. Can I just say sunk? I am with a lot of morbid curiosity. I am highly anticipating what happens in the finale because they've painted themselves into a corner where there is no good answer because they've ruined all of them. Unless it's all a dream, it could be a dream. It could all be a dream. They still got that available for them. Yeah, sunk, done.
Well, we'll see you next week, everybody.
We did, everybody. Come on back.
But you
Season
can eat
finale.
dairy. You take this pill for a week. You can eat
Oh,
dairy.
man, no, I need what
Yeah,
it's
I'll send
called,
you the link.
ASAP.
I'll send you the
Yeah.
link. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we can
Thanks,
try it
man.
together.
Hey, Brand, I love you, man. I know you were angry at me earlier. I love you.
Well, I wasn't angry at you.
I believe you said, "quote I'm mad at you today."
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
exactly what you said.
You heard my ideas and you poo-pooed on them.
I apologize. Well, hey, don't
Like
you
you
don't gotta
after
worry.
a flight. You
You don't
poo-pooed
gotta
right
worry, no,
on
you don't gotta
them.
worry. You don't
I
gotta
love
worry
it.
about the poo with this pill.
That's
now.
exactly
I'm
right.
good to
Hey, guys,
go.
maybe we'll tell you one day. Maybe we'll tell you what it's called. Maybe.
Maybe.
So come on back next week, and we'll see what happens. It's Dan at deckthehomework.com. You can go. Until then, we're first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.